Hello there and welcome to another Coffee with Colin, and thank you for joining me. You can see I'm outdoors this weekend because it is the bank holiday weekend, and I thought, you know what, life is for living. And it struck me that we do need to look after ourselves. We need to take some time out for R&R. It can't all be about work. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and it's true for you and for me too. So it struck me that really and truly we should take time to look after ourselves. One of my favourite things to do is to get out in the fresh air and walk by water when I can, and I try to do it every weekend if I can, and because it just sort of soothes me. Walking by water, looking at water, I find so refreshing, so energising. And I wonder, does it hail back to my childhood? Come from Dublin's north side, from Coolock, and we spent a lot of our time at the beach. I've got very fond memories of my mother bringing us on the train out to Howth, probably from Raheny station out to Howth, and then we'd walk along the road by the tracks back to the beach at Sutton, and I can still smell the creosote. I presume it was creosote, but certainly that lovely tarry smell I can still remember to this day, which I think came from either the poles at the side or the railway sleepers. I don't know which, but it was just a fabulous memory. And then we spent all of our summers in Wexford, a place called Blackwater. And I think we went down there, I believe, when I was 6 months old first time. Mum and Dad rented a space for us, I suppose, in a farm guest house, and then over the years we went back and back and back, and then it became a caravan on the land of the farm guest house, then it became a mobile home on the land, then they bought a site closer to the village, and we had the mobile home there for a few years, and then we built a bungalow, and that bungalow is still there today, and it's one of my favourite places in the world to go to. I love Blackwater, but the beach that we grew up on is the same beach, a little further along that beach. It's the same beach that featured in the opening scene, the terrific opening scenes of Saving Private Ryan. So beautiful place to grow up, beautiful place to spend our summers. And of course that was childhood, and of course in childhood there are zero responsibilities. Certainly in my childhood there were zero responsibilities involved. So as life goes on, life can take over, and life can sometimes knock the fun out of life. So the question is, how do we stay balanced? How do we create a work-life balance for ourselves? And I think for each of us that's different. We just need to figure out what works for us. For me, it's nature, and it's walking by water in particular. I don't have hobbies particularly. I love business. Business is my hobby. I love business and I hate work. And but you can't have one without the other. You can't love business and not do any work. It takes a lot of work to build business, but it's the type of work that I enjoy, because it's work that done once and done properly once can have long-lasting impact. That's what I enjoy. But that said, it can't be all work, and that's what I decided to do this weekend, was to celebrate the bank holiday weekend. That's why we've come out into nature to do so. And I would like for you to take a little bit of time this weekend and figure out what's it all about for you. What it's all about for me, I believe, the meaning of life is contribution. I think the world cannot be the same once you and I are in it. You and I are in the world, and as a result the world is somewhat different. And all that's going to matter when the time comes for us to leave this planet is, well, what difference did we make? For some it'll be a positive difference, for some it won't be a positive difference, but the world will be different because of the virtue of the fact that we've been here. So it's incumbent upon us to carry our fair share of responsibility for the life that we lead. But we only have to carry our fair share. We don't have to walk around with the weight of the world on our shoulders. That's not our job. Our job is to carry our small piece of responsibility and do the best that we can with it. I was talking with the school principal recently, and she said something very interesting. She said she had decided to retire, and I was quite surprised because I didn't see it coming. I wouldn't have imagined this principal would have retired for a few years, so I asked her why, and she said a few things that were really intriguing. She said that a friend of hers had retired not so long ago, and then hadn't gotten past her first Christmas as a retiree, had actually contracted an illness and passed away. Just like that, it was game over. So that was the first signal to her, and then the second signal was some bad health that she experienced herself, and she thought, you know what, I need to take stock here. And then she used this incredible phrase. She said, so I've decided to climb down off the cross and enjoy the rest of my life. And I found it really interesting. We spoke about it for a bit, and she was sort of saying, do you know what, I've given my career and this place 30 odd years. I've done my bit. Had I not really been thinking straight about it, I'd probably just keep going and keep going and keep going because, you know, I'm indispensable. And she realised, you know what, I'm not indispensable. Nobody is indispensable. And so she's decided to come down off the cross and pass the reins, pass the baton to somebody else, let them carry their fair share for a while. So that's what I'd like to put out there for this weekend. Please take some time this bank holiday weekend and reflect on what life means to you. And if you plan to do some work this weekend, consider not doing it. Consider putting it on the back burner. Consider getting out into fresh air. Go to the beach. Do whatever it is that feeds your soul. Lovely phrase. Take some time out to allow your soul catch up with your body this weekend. Have a good one. And thank you for joining me for this week's Coffee with Colm in the lovely fresh outdoors. Hope and trust you got something from it. If you have done and you think somebody else would benefit, I'd be delighted if you pass the link on. If it's your first time here and you'd like more of this type of stuff, well, pop to the homepage, colmobrien.motivation.com. Leave me some details and make sure you get a link like this on a weekly basis. It just won't be necessarily from outdoors. And then most importantly, please consider what's been shared here and apply it into your thinking this weekend in particular and over the next week or so. And then equally as importantly, please come back next week. We share another coffee together and I ruminate on some other aspect of life and business. In the meantime, get some good coffee, get some fresh air, get some R&R. If you spend a lot of time alone during the week, I recommend you go meet some people. If you spend a lot of time with people during the week, I recommend you take a little bit of time alone this weekend and catch up with yourself. Let your soul catch up with your body. And then when the time is right, and only when the time is right, get your head back in the game, get organised for the week ahead, get stuck in, make next week count, and I'll see you here this time next week. Sláinte. Love great coffee. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.